Four 8mm bolts hold the plastic tray underneath the engine, so get out your ratchet and a long 8mm socket to get at them. Two are right behind the front bumper, and the other two are directly straight back from there. Once you've removed all four bolts, you'll be able to slide the tray out of the way and get access to the oil drain plug on the sump. The oil drain plug is on the driver's side down low, and it is a 13mm bolt. Use the box end on your combination wrench to loosen it. Just get it loose with the wrench and then use your fingers to spin it out the rest of the way. Before you remove it entirely, slide the oil drain pan in and then reach over the sway bar to pull the bolt out the rest of the way. Please allow at least 15 to 20 minutes for the oil to completely drain out. The drain plug bolt comes with a copper crush washer. You'll want to remove that and then clean up the threads, get all the grime and dirt off of them, and get yourself a new copper crush washer. They're very cheap. $1 will buy a handful of them, so they're good to keep around. So we've cleaned up the drain plug bolt and put it in a safe place. Let's take the fill cap off the top of the valve covers, and behind the air filter on the driver's side you'll see the aluminum housing for the cartridge type filter that the 300SL uses. This is a little different from those sort of steel can spin-on filters that you may have seen on other engines. The cartridge type filter is essentially a paper fluted tube with plastic ends on either side. One end has an opening with a yellow felt washer on it, and the other end is topped off by a black plastic cap that's actually going to get clamped inside that aluminum housing once we're done with it. Also in the box is a brand new O-ring, so pull that out and set it aside. We'll use that a little later. The sort of filter wrench we're going to use is a steel cap. It fits on a long extension 3/8 drive, and get your 3/8 drive ratchet, and we're going to dive in the back, and just like with the bolt underneath on the sump, we want to just get it started. Start it to spin and then pull the wrench out of the way and use your hand to reach in and thread this off gently. Go slowly and just pull that aluminum cap off. It's got lots and lots of threads on it, and you want to make sure the oil has kind of drained down out of that whole cartridge housing so you don't make a big mess when you pull it out. The old filter is really dirty and it's really jammed onto that cap, so you're going to want to put some gloves on and sort of pry this apart. You're going to have to hold the aluminum housing and the paper filter, just wiggle them and yank, and they'll finally pop apart. The aluminum housing has the old O-ring in a groove just above the threads and below the flange. You're going to have to pry that out with a flat-plated screwdriver. Just work it down, all the threads. Again, it's kind of an oily, slippery mess, which makes it hard to use. Now, your new O-ring, put some clean motor oil on it and wipe it all around. This would be the equivalent of putting oil on the gasket on a spin-on filter. And you're going to want to do just the reverse of taking that old one off. Roll it up over the threads, work it around, rotate it, until you finally get it up into that groove at the top, so it'll make a very good seal. Now remember, the cartridge has an open end that's got a felt washer on it, and that's going to go down into the engine block inside that housing, and the other end is capped off with a little indentation in it that's going to fit into that aluminum cap. So let's take our cartridge and we're going to drop it into that housing. See there how there's a tube right down there in the middle in the center? You're going to have to push that paper cartridge down very firmly in that. It's going to sink down in there, and when we put the aluminum top on it, we're going to start that by hand and thread it down very slowly. You don't want to cross thread it or get a lot of dirt in there or anything, and just spin it down before you put your cap wrench and your long extension bar and your ratchet onto that. Now I want you to remember that this is an aluminum housing, and so you don't want to put a lot of force on this. You don't want to strip any threads, and you also don't want to split it. You could actually crack this. Look very closely. As the top threads down, that gap closes between the flange and the actual housing that's attached to the engine block. Look at this very closely. As you get it down snug, you'll feel it tighten up, and just put a little more force on it. See, just a bit before you pull your ratchet off, pull the top off. You don't have to really force this on there, and in fact I would recommend against forcing it on there. Remember our drain plug bolt? Well, it's got the new crush washer on it. And what we want to do now that the oil's all drained out, slide that oil tray out, start the bolt back in by hand, and we're going to wipe away any little drips that are there. Get the bolt snug with your fingers, and then use the box end of your 13mm wrench to tighten it the rest of the way. Now, the oil that you're going to use is probably going to be a 10W40 or a 20W50. Use the chart at the back of your owner's manual to show you the correct weight for the temperatures you'll be operating at. And remember, it's going to be about 6 quarts. It's a little over 6 quarts of oil. Again, check in your owner's manual. You don't have to use synthetic oil or any particular brand. It's really the weight that matters the most. Once you've filled it up, you're going to want to put the cap back on it. And we're going to reverse the things that we've done earlier. So slide the tray back under the car. Use your 4 10mm bolts and tighten them back up, get them all set and ready to go. Be sure to save your oil for recycling and clean up all your tools afterwards. So there's your oil change on a Mercedes-Benz 300SL.